You guys have $144,688 of really bad debt.
I have an addiction to a game called Fortnite.
What do you do for a living?
So I do only. And I
Well,
do
things are making more
stream
sense.
on.
Okay, so I ended up forgetting to turn on my lava lamps before I started recording. So right now they basically just look like lights. So hopefully they'll come alive the farther we get into this video. But today we're going to be taking a look at some of Caleb's guests on the financial audit because some of the mistakes and situations they're in are just insane. And hopefully seeing this kind of stuff will help you avoid having these same issues in your life. I mean, for me, this is basically like Scared Straight, but we have a lot of examples to go over today along with some comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But no more time wasting, let's just get right into it.
You're $70,000 in bad high interest debt.
Yeah.
Does your boyfriend even know that? You want to get married. What does he know?
It's not something I'm trying to hide. It's just something we don't really talk about.
Shouldn't we, if we want to get married? If we have a joint account, especially before marriage?
Yeah.
Doesn't know all that extra
Probably not.
Are his finances good?
No.
You guys don't communicate that much about money, and yet you have a joint account, and he helps with all the expenses, and you want to get married, and he only knows a little. Do we have true intentions to get married?
Yeah, for sure.
Really? What are we doing to get there?
Well, nothing right now.
So this kind of stuff is a red flag right off the bat. If you're not talking about your finances and on the same page before your marriage, there's a pretty large chance that your money issues will cause you to have a divorce. Almost 40% of divorces are caused by financial troubles. So not taking this type of stuff seriously, being so nonchalant, talking about it on the podcast cannot end well for this couple. We can look at some of the comments. Her nonchalant attitude makes this episode hard to watch. I don't understand wanting to be with, let alone marry someone you can't talk about basic things with, like finances. I know some people are very uncomfortable talking about money in general, but it's just something that is essential in today's world. You need to be on the same page together. We have a comment from one of you guys. I had a conversation with my fiance. She told me that she thought credit cards were free money before we met. How many times have we seen that on Caleb's show? And you paid them back because you're a good person, like an honor code kind of thing. Thank God she wasn't in terrible debt. So this is why sometimes we go over super basic stuff when it comes to finances. There are people out in the world thinking that credit cards are free money. Another example we're going to see in the video is that the cash back made on those cards will apparently end up paying for all the expenses, which is just a wild thing to say. So this is why I think watching this type of content is so important.
What do you do for a living?
I am an office manager at
So I wanted to put this in because I'm starting to see this a little bit more often. You could maybe call it a form of doom spending, but some people are very regimented Monday through Friday while they're doing their 9 to 5. But then on Saturday and Sunday, they go out partying and drain all the extra money that they made. So there is almost no form of retirement or saving at all. And I know you shouldn't just stay home every single week and penny pinch until you're 70 years old to retire. But this is the same type of person who would just never get ahead financially. I mean, never be able to own a home and be surprised about it when you're just draining your bank account every single week. Some of the comments, not me at 15 watching this to hopefully not go into debt when I'm older. That's basically the goals of my videos as well. $43,000 is not a lot of debt. Maybe if you compare some of the clips from my credit card debt videos when people are in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt, but I don't think too many people could pull out $43,000 of their bank account right now. So I would say 43K is a substantial amount of money. I like going out. I want to be a stay-at-home mom with the eye-rolling emoji. I personally don't have a problem with a stay-at-home mom, but if she's banking on that and then spending every last penny going out right now, probably not the safest thing to do. Another comment similar to what we just saw, spent a fair amount of time listening to a financial advice show on the radio when I was younger, and I think that helped shape my mindset. That is one of the positives that I think social media has right now, especially TikTok with a lot of the younger generation on it. There is tons of financial content on there, of course, along with the train wreck stories, but personally, I didn't see any of this kind of stuff when I was in high school. Even when I became an adult, I only personally got interested when I was around 20 or 21 years old.
I have an addiction to a game called Fortnite.
And this is more important than paying rent. How much is all that a month?
Sometimes I have the Fortnite crew, which is $12 a month.
What are you getting? Are you getting all the skins? Mrs. Incredible is my favorite one.
Yes.
No, so it basically lets you have the battle pass, the music pass, the OG pass, but I also like to go in the item shop and get cars, get skins, get emotes, you know.
How much does it all add up
Bless
to
you.
on a monthly basis?
Two.
What a
You spent $200 to $300 on video games?
Yes, when the skins are good.
That's 15% of your net income. That's a fucking joke. To Fortnite, fuck you.
For a free game, by the way. I can't blame her for at least playing the game because I put my fair share of hours into Fortnite, especially during the peak. I was one of those kids. I played it all the time as well. But in total, from start to finish, the first time I played to the last time, I probably spent around $20 in total. I bought the Battle Pass the first time it came out, but if you completed it, because I played it so much, you ended up getting enough V-Bucks to buy the next one. And that happened over and over and over again. I never bought any of the skins because if you do know anything about it, the special skins could actually be 20 USD per skin. So you have some people who get almost an addiction level to buying all of them, spending hundreds and thousands of dollars at a time and spending 15% of their income on a free game. The top comment says the exact same thing. Free game, by the way, with 17,000 likes. Is she 12? A game called Fortnite, like no one knows what it is. I mean, yeah, one of the most popular games. $200 on a free game. I'm scared to spend $5 on a game. She's the perfect example of what you would call a whale. That's exactly why a decent amount of games are free to play now, but have microtransactions riddled throughout. Maybe there'll be a good amount of people who don't spend a dime on it, or just a few bucks. Way less than the average $70 or $80 it costs to get a new game for like the Switch 2 or the PlayStation. But then on the other side, you'll have people who spend way more, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands on any type of game you could think of, even mobile games. It really is just unbelievable. But we have a comment from one of you guys that I thought was pretty funny. The I declare bankruptcy meme from Michael Scott is the level of financial literacy of some of these people. And I mean, we could keep going with the examples of crazy overconsumption.
How much have you spent on fucking Squishmallows?
I think I used like 10,000.
$10,000. It's gone like that.
I know. They're very cute. I'll show you my
Great, so you got
collection.
a $25,000 plushie deck? And then there's nothing to show for it, though, other than
Yeah.
a collection of plushies. Do you still have the plushies?
Yeah, I do.
Well, fucking sell them.
No, but I'm not going to sell the Halloween ones.
Because they're more important than the rats.
No.
With your actions, you are saying yes.
You just need certain things throughout, like,
You need
your
a
life.
dragon
You don't.
plushie.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying you necessarily need a dragon
Then
plushie.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Everyone needs, you
Not
know,
a dragon plushie?
not a dragon plushie.
get rid of the
but they need a
dragon plushie.
metaphorical squishmallow. They need a little treat every now and then.
Okay, so I can understand what that guy's trying to say, but when you spend over $10,000 on a random trend that goes in and out of popularity, I guarantee the exact same thing is going to happen with the Labubus that are popular right now. We could talk about the Funko Pops in the past, the Beanie Babies even before that. There's always something. But trying to justify spending this much money when you're already in a ton of debt as just saying, oh, you know, everybody needs some sort of hobby is just crossing the line for me. Honestly, it's too much. But we have another comment from you guys from the last video when we found somebody was paying, I believe, $30,000 a year to have a couple horses. When again, their finances were in shambles to begin with. The fastest way to make a small fortune on horses is to start with a large fortune. I saw a good amount of comments talking about the horse clip. People were saying it was very similar to owning a boat, you know, basically just throwing money into a fire all the time for the hobby, which I think is fine if you truly enjoy it and have the money to back it up. But you just have to know, if we're watching any of the guests on this show, they just don't have the funds to do so.
What's your rent?
It's $972 in LA.
Rent controlled?
Yeah. So my dad lived there since he was 20 with my mom. And then my brother moved in and I ended up taking that apartment.
Good, then why would you leave? What's the complicated part?
There's some mold growing underneath in the basement.
We'll have the landlord take care of the mold.
So I actually contacted the landlord. They had an inspector come out and nothing's happened.
Well, they're honestly probably legally incentive to do so, but because of
I
your
agree.
situation, they are not financially incented to do so. You're in a city that discourages housing being built, a city that discourages new units being opened because your family just stays there for generations, discourages actually keeping the properties up into current repair, because why would they? Yes, what a very productive city.
This is one of them that I wanted to put in because of the response, the comments for this video. Living in a city like LA at $972, handle the mold problem yourself, LOL. Hear me out, a bit of mold for $900 a month in LA, I could live with that. A lot of comments saying that this is okay to have mold in the house because the rent is so cheap, which of course it is if you're gonna compare LA prices. It's just crazy to see what people would put up with just to live in Los Angeles. I know if I ever went there, I would see how nice the weather is all the time, but I thought it was wild that so many people were almost in the defense of the landlord who wasn't doing anything for him just because it was $1,000 a month. We got another comment here. I promise you those people go on the show just to be looked at and take away absolutely nothing. I know that Caleb does pay the guests for their time. I don't believe it's that much money overall, so it doesn't really seem worth it to me to sit there for a couple hours and not take any of the financial advice and just go back to your old ways, getting into more and more debt.
What's the car?
2023 Polaris Slingshot. Like,
Wait, it's a Spider? It's one of those?
yeah.
Like one of those 3-wheel fucking like.
Yeah, so it's like an exotic.
This is crazy. $30,773.90 with a minimum monthly payment $560.78.
Yeah.
That is crazy. What's the interest on this?
13 or 14.
No. What the? Why? Why do you need this?
Me and my ex, they were gonna put up on Turo as like a rental car, and so that was the idea behind this car. Was it was supposed to be for passive income and be a rental car on the
I
side.
depreciate an asset for passive income, guys. This is the greatest idea in the history of humanity.
Listen,
The
Turo is one of them that is absolutely imploding right now. I am seeing tons of YouTube videos recommended to me saying that all the passive income is completely dried up. It's not worth putting your car in Turo. People are selling all the vehicles that they bought in the first place to try to make money. So this seems to be following in the exact same footsteps, along with having a 12 or 14% interest rate on a depreciating asset. Some of the comments, why did I think they cost more than $30,000? Because it was marketed as an exotic car, like she said, but overall not really popular. I don't know how many you see out on the road in your life. I barely ever see them, and clearly wasn't cool enough to be rented out all the time on Turo to make them money. You could bet her and her ex tried drop shipping, online courses, car rental, arbitrage, everything you've probably seen online. How did Polaris convince people that the Slingshot is exotic? It was all marketing. Here we could get into the credit card cash back and when people take it too far.
Our debts are getting worse. Why are we opening more access to lines of credit?
We were initially got it because of the cash back. We're going to use the cash back to pay for Christmas the following year.
And her birthday.
The are you talking about? Walk me through the math, please. Let's see 2025's Christmas paid by the cashback, of which is only 5% cashback on the Amazon card.
Well, I mean,
well, actually, no. Can he have the whiteboard? I want him to draw how he thinks this works.
It made sense to me.
it has a $5,000 limit. So if we get to the 5,000, 5% of that would, over the course of a full year though, I mean, it would be, initially we were going to pay it off every month.
Well, of course, that's everyone's little grand strategy.
Times 12. So that's 2,400. 5% of that. My math is terrible.
Is the logic making sense so far, wifey? Looking over the husband's shoulder.
Well,
You don't know anything about your finances, but here's his logic that he used with your money.
No, the logic that he didn't draw it out for me like he is with you, but the way that he explained it to me was that since Christmas is in December and her birthday is in May, then we can use the cash back that we get from all the purchases to pay for birthday presents, and then the cash back that we get from May to December to pay for Christmas, and that would be pretty much
So is
quote
his logic
girl
making
math.
sense?
So
does that make sense?
it made sense.
And how do we do that to make that work?
We spend money on it on the Amazon card so that we can get the cash back. It's like free money, I think.
But we're supposed to pay it off. That's the problem. Is that
Let's see. Okay.
it's not
That's
great.
curious because right here I see interest accruing. So obviously the plan jail.
There we go. We had to wait to the end of the video because overall I didn't disagree with them until they didn't pay it off. As soon as you start accruing interest, all of the cash back evaporates. We're talking about 20 or 30% interest rate on these credit cards every single month. So even if it was 5% cash back, you paying for Christmas or birthday presents just doesn't exist. But this is not the first time we've seen this exact thought process from one of their guests. And this could be a very slippery slope to thinking that you're getting back free money, but in the end, you're going to have to pay so much more with the ridiculous amount of interest. So go into $5,000 worth of debt to get a free $250. Am I understanding that correctly? Again, I don't have a problem with credit cards if you know what you're doing and you're disciplined. Everybody has monthly expenses. You're going to spend money all the time. So if you have specific cards that have 2% or 5% cash back, you can get points or miles, cash back, whatever they're offering. But this is the exact example of when people take it too far. Watching him struggle with very simple math hurt my soul. 5% cash back, but almost a 22% interest rate when you carry a balance completely negates it. Cash back is free money when you don't pay interest. People like this are how companies can afford to pay that cash back to responsible people. Exactly. No way full-grown adults really think ruthless billionaire companies have these loopholes that no one here noticed, which will benefit them more than they benefit the company. Oh man.
You guys have $144,688 of really bad debt. That's 144 months to pay off the debt.
12 years.
Wow.
When something's looking over a decade, when you make good money, bankruptcy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's stressful, it's expensive, but this is a brutal situation. Again, the free therapy sessions take advantage of that, but also I'm gonna sit you guys down with Reed. He's a CPA and a big finance nerd. Let's see him and get him a second opinion. We'll pay for that session for you guys.
Thank you.
And maybe there's another way out of this that's not bankruptcy or 1,000 billion jillion years. But this is just brutal. That's not honestly what I'm focusing on here. I'm focusing on the relationship, and the relationship is a joke, and I don't know how you guys are going to survive together. But finances, which is one of the leading causes for divorce in this country, I don't know how you guys are going to make it. You have the baby right now holding it together. I don't know what you guys are going to do a few years from now. Good luck.
This is basically the very first clip we watched. Fast forward a few years if they do get married. Having such bad debt and taking that long to pay it off that Caleb's actually considering bankruptcy. You know my stance on bankruptcy because so many people just use it as a reset button, not a way to actually start taking your finances seriously and get on the right track. People rack up the credit card debt, going on vacation, spending money, doing absolutely anything they want, file for bankruptcy, and do the same thing over again. I don't know what's happening in this situation, but there were even more problems which we'll get into a little bit later between the couple. Now this next one, man, I had to put in because it was just crazy.
I started trying to be a webcam model myself, and it did not work out well.
Webcam model?
Yeah, like live webcam modeling.
You were like, wow. Double.
No, I was just trying to sling my a little bit.
Wow, man. Damn.
And it did not go well for me. It was less than 15 an hour. So after tree service ended, it was just down the road from a strip club, and one of my jobs on my list of stuff to do in my life was strip club manager.
All I have to say is, wow. Putting yourself out there online forever for less than $15 an hour, can't say that that's worth it in my opinion. I talked about this previously on my second channel with OF models, ending up quitting that and trying to go back to a normal career, but now you have a digital footprint forever and could honestly severely limit your job opportunities in the future. I mean, this guy doubled down and right after that tried to become a strip club manager. There was other stuff, McDonald's he worked at, just a whole mess of a situation. But we could keep going with a similar example.
What do you do for a living?
So I do only. And I
well,
do
things are making more sense.
Yeah, okay, now I stream on Twitch as well.
What are we making from these sources?
So only is around $200 on a good month.
Okay, so you don't have a job. Okay, well, you said another one was streaming. So how much are we making off that?
I took a break from streaming the last several months because I had some health issues recently. I had a collapsed lung.
Why? At 25? Jeez, for what?
I was vaping and I hit
people, stop with this. We're finally starting to see consequences.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Really? A collapsed lung?
I now smoke cigarettes, but I was smoking.
No! What?
So
we have a collapsed lung and we're smoking
I got permission from my pulmonologist because of the fact.
Pulmonologist?
I can't pronounce. pulmonary doctor.
Okay, I highly doubt you got a doctor saying that it's okay to smoke cigarettes after you got a collapsed lung from vaping, along with the only $200 a month she's getting from her OF account. So the last one we had less than $15 an hour. This one's just $2,400 a year. And then whatever money she was making from streaming on Twitch had to be stopped because of her vaping and now cigarette use. Like, how many problems could you add on top of each other at once? The top comment is exactly what I said. There's absolutely no way she got clearance from a licensed medical professional to smoke cigarettes after a collapsed lung. Girl, your dignity is worth more than $200 a month. You can make that a week working minimum wage jobs. $200 in a good month, yeah. So that's the best she could do. It was probably even less.
You've been in college for a decade?
$8 or 8 years. The main debt that I have is student loans. Yeah, I've been in college my entire 20s.
No wonder the professor f***ing loves you. You did the same thing they did. They never left college. And you are showing the signs of people who will never be able to operate in life outside of a classroom setting. You're not against degrees, you're just going for a pointless degree.
People need communicators.
But can get better communicating degrees.
But if there's 10 girls all applying for the same thing, they all have marketing degrees, and I'm the one that has a creative writing degree.
They'll
and I
pick
have
the
some
one
kind
with the
of-
qualified degree.
It's qualifiable, I would
It's not
think.
one of the leading ones for copywriting, which is one of the jobs you brought up.
And you don't think that maybe when I get the interview, I could talk to them and say, hey,
You have to
this
get past
is
the
what
recruiter first.
That's why I would get my real estate license. I can always go back to it.
Alrighty, lady, let's move on for f***'s sake.
So her solution to all the problems that Caleb was showing her was to completely throw out everything and just get her real estate license, which I don't think I really have to tell you is a lot more difficult to make money in this market right now. But this is one of the examples of somebody who turns into 6 figures worth of student debt that if you've seen the news, they are now going to have to start paying back because they were there for almost a decade. The very beginning of the clip was basically the whole comment section. You've been in college for a decade, $8. She zoned out so hard. 8 years to do communication is wild. But we could go back to the couple that Caleb didn't even know what they were going to do in their relationship, let alone their finances.
I set up a separate bank account.
Really? Why?
Because if there's money in our main account, it gets spent.
Do you have no self-control?
Not really.
So why have you not worked on this?
Because I don't care. I just like to spend money.
How do you get out of a hole when he has that mindset?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's my money. I pay for her house. I don't live there. I pay for her groceries. I travel for work, so I live in a fifth wheel 2 hours from home.
2 hours?
2
How often are you home?
Every other weekend, if I can.
You only see him 4 days a month?
Sometimes, yeah. And sometimes it's
How
just...
are you guys surviving that? Well, he's just blowing all his money and he doesn't care. Well, he's also gone for 90% of a month.
Well, if I'm at work, I don't spend the money.
You spend it all in 4 days?
Yeah, it don't take very long.
Just another example of being on completely different pages when it comes to money. The comment section definitely thought something fishy was going on, guaranteed that man has a whole other family. Cheating, that's why he doesn't care, he doesn't even like her. Her house, that triggered me, this man has another house with another family for sure. I don't care, divorce right there. Up next, we have an example of somebody taking out one of these predatory payday loans.
So we do things behind our pregnant wife's back?
Right. Yeah, I just opened up like 2 payday loans.
I did not know about these payday loans.
There's like 4 in total.
What did she know?
I didn't want to put stress on her a lot of times through like pregnancy and stuff.
That's what every single person who goes behind their spouse's back does, says they do it for them.
I was working till I was 40 weeks pregnant, so I was already stressed out. Like, you could have told me.
Yeah, it was instant money. I needed it.
Why did you need it?
So when I got hired at Chick-fil-A, I was a manager, and a younger team member, it was like her first week, she had came up to me and asked to go on break, and I jokingly looked at her and was like, what you want me to do, pull your brake on my ass? And she started hysterically crying. I instantly apologized, and then she quit, and they demoted me. So that
And then she came back.
hit my pay a lot.
I don't know what really happened with his normal job being a Chick-fil-A manager, but it does seem like one of the places you cannot mess around. And honestly, in any type of job, you cannot joke around. You have to be on your best behavior 24/7, because in this job market, they're just going to get somebody else if you make the wrong move or they don't even like you. So I'm surprised he didn't get completely fired. He just got demoted, but still took a sizable hit to his pay. And there's kind of a part 2 with these payday loans as well.
You took out payday loans behind your back 4 times.
Well, the payday loans, they're like taken out of my check automatically. So like most of them I can't go and can't stop
You've signed up for those.
I can't even stop the payments on them. They don't let you miss like skip a payment or like pay later. None of them.
$770.60 a month is the minimum payment on that bullshit. Yeah, it's at a 300% interest rate.
Yeah.
I did not know about these payday loans.
There's like 4 in total.
Almost $800 a month for nothing. That's pretty similar to the monthly car payments we're seeing now, but at least in that instance, you're getting a vehicle. It is a depreciating vehicle, but you could actually use it. This one you have to pay back and there's no avoiding it. It is getting taken out automatically, and it was 300%. That was all the comments. 300% interest should be illegal. I believe the highest we've seen on this channel is around 500 or 600%. Payday loans are basically the equivalent of borrowing from the mob. 300% interest. Who in their right mind signs up for this? And that's why I've made an entire dedicated video previously on this channel about them. But to finish off this video, we have a comment and a clip that goes along with this. I stopped watching Caleb Hammer a few months ago, not because of his channel or personality, but because I got so tired of seeing the guests on them. They're just lost causes, nothing but zoned out people in complete denial of their situations. And we have a perfect example right here.
This is and I think I'm done. I think I'm legitimately done. We've given you every resource, every step, every piece of advice. You were the only person that sat down with Brian about too. There's nothing that can be done here, and it's like the alcoholic that's never changed. Sometimes you just have to separate yourself from them. If you actually ever make progress, you can come back on. If you get worse or stay the same, you're never coming back on.
Understandable.
Our financial score, man. It's gone from a 1 to a fuck you. It's as simple as that. It's when I'm done with people, that's the score. It's fuck you. That's it.
Oh yeah, my name is Joseph. I am 31 years old. I'm born and raised in Austin, Texas.
My name is Joseph, and I still live in Austin. My name is Joseph. I forget my age. Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm 33 years old.
I guarantee this, I'm gonna make something happen, and I will be held to account.
And no matter how many times you try to give advice, you watch the mistakes other people make, some people are just lost causes, and Caleb was done with that guy after 4 episodes of no improvement. There's only so much you could really do in the end. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.